All right, hey folks. So welcome. Hope this finds you well, and hope you're working on your essays. The draft is due tomorrow night, the 27th. So please get those in. A couple people have submitted them already, and I've given comments to them. The sooner the better with that. And then don't forget next week. Look at your dates, and then the essay is due on March 7th. Yes, the 7th. So many dates, so many times in my brain, so I just got to make sure that I give you the right information. So what's going to happen is I will get the essays will come in, you'll have to give some feedback, read an essay, give some feedback on that. I will be giving feedback on the essays. I will start that tomorrow, as soon as I get them in. If I got it in tomorrow, I'll give feedback tomorrow. Earlier the better, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Hopefully I can have most of that done by Friday. If not Saturday, will be the latest. And then that'll be feedback for you to have for a week to do your revision. So this week is really not an in-depth update, but I do want to touch on a couple of things. As I'm looking at the essays, what I'm finding, and this is oftentimes the case with analysis, we are better to do a greater sense of depth than breadth. So you want to go deeper into a topic rather than trying to talk about a bunch of topics. So for example, so if your choice is A Rose for Emily, rather than writing about foreshadowing and imagery and setting and dialect, that's too much. Choose a thing or two things, and then write about as much as you can about those items. Symbolism is an important and a very common item to write about. Figurative language is a common item to write about. Dialogue, dialect, setting, like I mentioned before, imagery, organization. All of those are absolutely literary elements you can use, but don't try to write about a bunch of them and try to cram them in. Also, there is no rule, not in my world at least, that states you have to write a 5-paragraph essay. Oftentimes, people, they start putting their essay ideas together and thinking, I need to have this 5-paragraph essay, so I need to write about this, this, and this. I need to have these 3 things that I touch on. And if what you want to write about, if your the story you choose, if the literary element you choose, if all that ends up being an introduction, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion, so be it. That's fine. But that's not a requirement. So choose your element, and as you're writing about your element and then revising your essay, depth over breadth. I love and much more prefer for you to write about, say, symbolism, and choose how symbolism connects to theme, but also how many, like a couple of 2 or 3 different symbolic components of a single symbol, or how a writer utilizes dialect to create a tone, or develop characters, or show their strengths or their weaknesses. All of that is better than trying to write about too many things. So, and again, I've written a couple of comments on some of the papers already, and hopefully well received. And I hope that if you have any questions on that, you can ask me as well. One final comment on thesis statements. As mentioned in the assignment, please don't write, in this paper I will, and go from that way. Also, thesis statements should not necessarily be a list. Now, there are different genres of writing where that might be appropriate. For this one, I'm not expecting that. So please don't make it a list. I'm going to write about this, this, and this. The paper's going to be about this, this, and this. Let me choose something. In Hemingway's Hills Like White Elephants, the nuanced nature of the language reflects the time frame in which Hemingway is writing. So this nuanced language, the way that they subtly talk about the issue that they're having, and that they dance around the topic. And Hemingway does this really well in this particular story. You've not read the story, but if that's what I was writing about, that would be my thesis. The way in which Hemingway utilizes subtle language to discuss significant issues in the story Hills Like White Elephants. How he utilizes unstated truths, or a better word would be covertly stated truths, or nuanced truths between the characters to create tension. That could be my thesis. And then I'm going to start writing about some of the items. I might talk about the beginning of the story, the middle of the story, the end of the story. I might talk about the climactic moment of the story. I might talk about... That allows me to write about multiple items, but I'm narrowing my scope down a lot. I'm not writing about a bunch of things. I'm writing about a thing or two really well, with depth, with support. You have to have support. And I think I'm just going to keep it short and sweet today. So that's it on the paper. One final note, and if you've stayed in for this whole long essay or long video, it's not very long. I'm concerned by multiple students with whom, like, I'm writing comments on every post you're putting in. I'm sending emails to multiple students about issues that maybe their posts are having. And my goal is to help you to do better in the posts and the writings and the things that you're doing. My goal is not to penalize somebody. It's not to give somebody a bad grade. But I am reaching out, and I really want you to let me help you. If you are not engaged in the comments that I'm giving, or videos such as this, if you're not engaged in these spaces, then I can't help you with that. So I hope that you've watched this video, and I hope that if you have received feedback from me, to maybe get in touch with me or look at some other items and you don't understand something, you're reaching out to me to let me give you feedback and to help you become a better academic and a better student with regards to your reading, your research, your writing. Anyhow, I am noticing a lot of strong writing and a lot of really interesting topics, and it's getting better and better and better for the most part. But please, if you're struggling or you need some help, do not hesitate to ask. Happy to do it. I guess that's all I have. I'm looking forward to reading your essays, and I'll get these drafts commented up and get them back to you. It's going to be fairly random with regards to the order I do it. I hate to do it, alphabetically. I've done it alphabetically from front to back and from back to front. I'm just going to go sporadically through the middle and kind of work my way out this time, so that everybody gets equal opportunity feedback with regards to timing. Anyhow, thank you so much. Keep up the good work, and I look forward to reading the essays and helping you if I can. See ya.